So the other day, I was thinking of a real life scenario that I can only envision that it just had to go down this way.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there was some time in, I think it would be the early 70s, where Jim Henson and his creative team were coming up with the characters that would become the beloved Sesame Street gang, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just imagining he's got his team of designers and stuff right there, and they've created all these cool creatures for the kids.
Right.
And they've got to start naming these things.
Okay.
So one of the designers is like, all right, we got this little red guy. He's like a little kid. He's kind of fuzzy. He needs a name. What do you got?
Elmo.
Elmo, that's great. That's so fun. It's creative. Good. Let's see if we can keep some momentum going here. We got this guy who, I don't know why he's like from Brooklyn or something.
No, he is, though.
He probably is, though.
He is, though.
He lives in a garbage can, and he's green, he's nasty, he's always upset about something, but I don't have a name.
Yeah, you know what? Growing up, there was an old man on my block who was always upset, and he lived on the street.
Yeah?
His name was Oscar.
Oscar!
We called him Oscar the Grouch.
Perfect.
Boom.
Okay, I got this little blue guy. He's kind of a goofball. He's blue, he's fuzzy.
Just like President Grover Cleveland. Grover
it is. That's fantastic. You're a creative genius. We're going to run out of steam coming up with all of these great names.
All right, who's next?
I got this guy. Okay, this is going to be everybody's favorite. He's yellow.
Uh-huh.
He's like a big bird.
Big Bird.
That's kind of on the
name
nose,
it Big
isn't
Bird.
it? I feel like we...
No, Dad, name it Big Bird.
We just kind of ran out of steam here, I think. Big Bird.
Dad. I'm assuming it was his son. His son was like, that's a big bird. You should call it Big Bird. We can think of another. No, Big Bird.
That's the one. That's the one we're going with.
All right.
Welcome, Dad and lovely listeners, to the first. Well, it's not the first one in 2020. It's the first one we've recorded in 2020.
That is true.
The first podcast we have recorded in 2020. That's got a good ring to it, doesn't it?
It does.
Everybody connects with that. Why, it's Dead and Lovely here with the host with the most. It's me, your good buddy, Uncle Ban.
And me, Hollywood Stav.
And we're here today to be talking about a Frailty, catching up about our holiday shenanigans. This is the first time that we recorded since we did the last episode.
December 23rd.
Yeah, which was on the Festivus.
Festivus, yeah.
So we've had all kinds of shindigs and shenanigans since then. We've had a Christmas Eve, a Christmas Day,
a
New Year's Eve,
a
New Year's Day.
Yes, sir.
So many things going on. How was your Christmas?
Dude, I'll tell you what. I got a Christmas gift from a guy I know.
Yeah?
That was a tincture of a marijuana.
Oh, my Lord have mercy.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what. It made Christmas perfect.
Were you dreaming of a green Christmas?
Yeah, it made it awesome. Because one, if I had walked into my family's place smelling like weed, one, my mom and my grandmother are supportive because I use it for anxiety.
Yeah.
And they're like, fine. But everybody else knows what weed smells like and would be like, what's up here?
Yeah.
But I took some dropper of this tincture.
Uh-huh.
And I was just perfectly mellow the whole time.
Nice.
It was great.
That sounds like a wonderful gift.
Yeah, and there was just so much stuff going on that normally would have been anxiety producing. But it was just like, nope.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter to me.
Very good. That sounds like that worked out pretty well for you.
So that was Christmas Eve. So on Christmas, went for more different other side, Emily's family stuff. Did the same thing. It worked out perfectly.
It's not going to make anything worse.
No, it was great.
Killer, dude.
Yeah, so my holidays were perfectly chill.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear about that, man. Ours were also pretty easy going.
Yeah.
Except for...
Let's hear it.
So on Christmas Eve, we have like Kate's big family dinner and stuff, which is always like my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, we kind of have some of the close family around and everybody exchanges presents and stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
There's like 30 people there, so it's really, really full. And the way that their living room is, it's kind of like, like a kitchen, island, living room kind of combination where the Christmas tree is and stuff. So everybody kind of gets a chair, a couch, whatever. Kate and I were standing up back by the stove, right? Which, again, we can see the whole living room from there. So somebody gives us like this big box, and I take it back over to where we're standing in front of the stove.
Uh-huh.
I set it on top of their gas range.
Oh, no.
You're seeing where this is going. It goes there.
Yep.
And so I set this big box down on top of the gas range. We're standing there, and Kate's like starts to unwrap it and stuff. and suddenly it's like, why is the present on fire? I don't even know how it's possible. Kate swears it was me. I don't know how it's possible because, it's a gas range. So it's the kind of knobs that you have to push in.
Yeah.
Turn it all the way to high, to get the pilot going and stuff like that. So I don't even know how it was turned on. Unless it was
somebody leaned upon it. Probably, yeah.
Or maybe it was like left on from dinner and just the pilot was going or something like that. I don't know. But either way... It was definitely a showstopper.
Present.
Yeah, it was a showstopper because it was like suddenly, the present's like in the air. Kate picks it up, throws it in the sink. We're like spraying it down with a water nozzle and stuff. I'm just laughing my ass off because I think it's fucking hilarious. Everybody's like, "What's going on over there?" It's like, "Oh, present's on fire." No big deal.
I just imagine if, as you noticed it caught on fire, it went boom. And then you hear Kane's music, and he steps out of the flames.
Holy shit! What if like that would have been like somebody got us a fucking puppy or a kitty or something?
No. Oh no!
It's like, oh my god, put the box on down.
No. That would have been so sad.
That was definitely like the most exciting thing.
Yeah,
I believe that happened.
I bet.
Yeah. So that was a pretty wild time. We had a good time though, man, and we're with everybody's family the next day and stuff too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty easy going. Mm-hmm. Managed to make it through the whole thing hangover free, which is great.
Yeah, I also did not get a hangover.
Yeah, very nice. So that worked out in our favor. And then the next day is our favorite holiday, which is Bunker Day, which is where on the 26th you just lock yourself in the house and nobody comes over. You don't see nobody. Yeah. I felt bad because our main man, the notorious RDM,
I know,
happened to make a trip in just on a whim. And I was like, man, I would love to go and hang out with your handsome self, but I am holed up here in this apartment.
I was also holed up.
Yeah.
Because Emily went back to work. I think it was the first time she had worked, and she had like 4 days off there for the holiday.
Nice.
And it was nice. I just sat home and worked, I think.
Man, it's
pretty sure that's all I did.
It's just so fucking hectic around the holidays and stuff that like, even whenever like New Year's and stuff comes around and it's like, New Year's party. Like the idea of going to one more party is just not fucking appealing to me.
Yeah, I was
tired.
Our plan was to just stay home and hang out, but then my friend Chris was like, "Hey, you want to come hang out with me and my wife?" They were, it wasn't gonna be a raucous party. Yeah, just hanging out, and so that's what we did on New Year's Eve. Just sit in the living room. We actually didn't get there until 11, so
yeah,
we hung out for a few hours, but it was the most tame New Year's Eve I think I've ever had.
That sounds pretty great to me, honestly.
It was pretty great. I was drinking on some George Dickel Bottled in Bond.
Oh, you mean like that bottle you just picked up for me?
Yeah,
the whiskey of the year.
Bourbon of the year. Yeah, 2019.
I'll tell you, if you can find it, that's some fine shit. Don't let the name Dickel throw you. It's good.
But also, I recommend trying the other Dickels. I've recommended this. I thought about this when I was drinking it. I think within the first 10 episodes, I recommended people drink George Dickel because it was better than you think.
It is. The white label's fantastic.
Yeah. And that Bottled in Bond fucking nails it.
It's great.
Right now, like $36.
Yeah.
It was about $20 at the beginning of the year. Then it became Bourbon of the Year. If you can pick it up now, pick it up quick because it's gonna get more expensive.
Yeah, pick it up and then pour it in your face.
Yeah, pour it in your face.
That's the recommended dosage for face use.
Yep, for face use only. No butt chugging.
No,
good
none of
bourbon.
that. Not eye drops. Not usable as eye drop. Yeah, we had ourselves quite the opposite New Year's Eve as I was playing a big
you were playing Skank Banger,
big ass sold out Skank Banger show at the Open Chord. Mm-hmm. And it was just debaucherous as shit.
I bet.
It was awesome.
I mean, those shows usually are, and it was New Year's Eve.
Oh, Lord of mercy, dude.
Uh-huh.
And then the crazy thing is we started our set, around like, I don't know, 9:30 or 10. Mm-hmm. And we were going to play till about 12:30 or so.
Yeah.
About 12:15, 12:20, we're just wrapping up some Welcome to the Jungle.
Uh-huh.
You in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die. Mm-hmm. And then we start getting voiceover through the monitors on stage from the sound guy. Guys, we're going to have to shut it down here for a second. Paramedics need to communicate with each other. Can't hear over the band. Somebody fucking dropped out, their fucking heart stopped, and they actually died for a little while.
Oh, no.
I know.
And then you played Kickstart My Heart?
That was the difficult part. We'd already played Kickstart My Heart. I know. There were so many other songs we could have played. It would have been perfect. Maybe Shot Through the Heart.
Yeah, that could have worked, too.
There's really a lot bad medicine.
Whoa.
There's a lot that could have worked there, I think. But yeah, like I don't know exactly the whole story of what happened, but the bartender said this chick just had like 4 drinks or something.
Yeah.
And was just acting crazy fucked up, like she was on drugs.
Yeah.
And yeah,
she probably was on
stopped.
drugs.
Like one of the paramedics cracked ribs doing, what do they call it? Chest
compressions.
Compressions and stuff, yeah. How does that change your sense of self and identity? I died at a Skank Banger show. Hey, I invited Becky to the party. Which one's Becky?
Lean into it.
Oh, you know Becky that like died at the Skank Banger show?
I think you gotta lean into it because if you go the other way, that's the most embarrassing thing that happened to you. That's a pretty cool thing to happen to you.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, like
I could think of worse bands to die to.
Hell yeah.
Imagine that's how you start your year off, though.
Yeah.
2020. I died.
I died watching a James Blunt cover band.
Said nobody cool ever.
Yeah, exactly. If that were the case, you'd be like, all right, well, now I need to turn to Jesus, I guess.
That's
I
all
don't
that's
know.
left, I think.
Yeah.
But instead, you're like, I actually lost fucking my life for a little while during an 80s hair metal tribute show.
Fuck yeah!
She might have just won New Year's.
Yeah.
I think she really might have. Yeah, so I had a pretty wild New Year and stuff, but so far so good. I'm looking forward to 2020. 2019 was, like I said last episode, rough for a lot of reasons for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think 2020 is going to be a real good one. I'm quite sure.
It'll be a year.
Yeah.
There'll be ups, there'll be downs, there'll be sideways, there'll be underneaths. There might be some back arounds.
Oh, you don't say. Yep. And I'll tell you what, there's going to be plenty of co-beers.
Hell yeah.
I think I'd like to have one now just to get us started earlier. How about we sip on this Highland Brewing Company from Asheville, North Kakalaki, their Black Watch Double Chocolate Milk Stout. This is a limited release, 8%er.
Hell yeah.
It's a big old boy. Let's see what this thing's about.
I am always super appreciative of Highland Brewing as they were one of the first in this area that really nailed microbrewing.
Totally. Yep. The Highland Gaelic Ale was one of the first like fancy beers that I was like, oh, this is really good, man. And it still is. I enjoy Gaelic Ale.
They're still kicking out the jams. I mean, I think we had one in the summer that was a real good after you mow a lawn beer.
They have that AVL IPA now that's kind of like green peppery.
Yeah.
That's really good. I like that one a lot. I like that they do a Thunderstruck coffee porter or something.
That is really good,
That's really good. I'm sure this Black Watch is going to be good. I can't remember if I have had it or not, but we are enduring
smells great.
Yeah? Oh, it does. We're currently enduring like day 1 million of just nasty, cold, wet rain, gray drizzle out there. So
it's gross out there.
A big old warm... well, not warm. A big old heavy chocolate beer.
We should warm it up.
Let's put it in the microwave for a little while. I think is exactly what's going to warm me up from the inside. That's what I was going for there. How's that treating you?
That is a coffee stout. Man, I'll tell you what.
Ooh,
that is
good.
chocolatey. It's coffee.
Yeah.
There's nothing else going on there but just
chocolate and coffee.
Yeah.
I'm very okay with that.
Me too.
That's really fucking good, man. It has a substantial amount of sweetness to it without being too rich.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's really good.
That's actually one of my favorite, I think, chocolate milk stouts I've ever had.
Because it's just straight on. There's no other, it's thick, it's chocolatey, it's coffee. There's that milkish taste. I can really catch that, actually.
Elegant mouthfeel.
Yeah. Elegant mouthfeel.
Oh, it's good, man.
Yeah.
You been watching anything good over this Christmas season?
Yes. I finished American Horror Story Cult, which I just started episode 1 last episode.
Yeah. So you mowed down the rest, huh?
Yeah, I think it was an amazing season of television. It's something I couldn't have watched when it came on because it's just so
too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon. The first 3 episodes of it are very anxiety producing.
Well, that's the thing is like I watched the first episode with Kate sometime last year, middle of last year, I think.
Yeah.
She started watching it, and I sat down and watched the first episode with her, and I was also just kind of like, I don't know if I can really watch this right now. Because it's just a little too fucking relevant.
I would say that the anxiety part mellows out, but the show, like the season, never mellows out. It always is just intense, and I really dug it. Evan Peters is fucking awesome. I mean, he's been awesome since the first season. He's awesome as Quicksilver. He's
oh yeah, that's right. That's fucking Quicksilver. I forgot about that.
Yeah, but he really does a great job as the main antagonist. And then, you got Sarah Paulson, who's always awesome, and all the other...
I know her.
She's in every season of American Horror Story.
That would be why.
Yeah. She's in other stuff. Oh, she was in Ocean's 8. She was one of the gals.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, like I said, whenever I watched it and you've got fucking Quicksilver just being such an asshole...
It's real rough.
Oh, man.
And it gets brutal, too.
Does it?
Like, very brutal.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you'd recommend it overall?
I do recommend it. Yeah, if you've maybe gave up on American Horror Story after some season and you want to pick back up, try Cult. I thought it was really... I mean, Roanoke is also great. I said last episode. And probably is a good, milder introduction back into the series. Cult is... brutal.
Full
and
stop.
Just will kick your ass, and also it's real fun.
Damn. Okay, cool, man. Sounds like a good watch.
I also I watched some other stuff, but I saw Florence Pugh in an interview talking about Fighting With My Family, and I realized that I don't think I ever said that I watched Fighting With My Family recently.
I don't know what that is.
It's a sports entertainment about WWE's Paige.
Oh, Paige. Okay. Yeah.
Former women's champion, or maybe current. I don't know. I haven't paid attention.
Yeah, I need to brush up on my wrestle news.
So,
is it a biopic, or is it like
it's a biopic basically about her and her family. She started wrestling when she was 13. She comes from a wrestling family. Her mom and dad are both wrestlers.
Okay.
So it's a sports movie, so you know the beats. You know what's going to happen. But the thing is that it's written and directed by Stephen Merchant of the British Office and the Ricky Gervais Show and all of Ricky Gervais's stuff.
Okay.
And it's so well written and so well done that even though you know the beats of a sports movie, it does it so well. It's like a well done, rom-com or something where it's like, yeah, they all follow the same pattern, really.
But this one does it really well.
This one does it really, really well. And it's starring Florence Pugh from Midsommar, who is so fucking good.
Nice, man. That sounds pretty awesome.
Nick Frost and Lena Headey and...
Cersei Lannister.
Oh, and also The Rock and, some other WWE stars.
That sounds pretty dope, man. I could get into that.
Yeah, it's great. It's worth a watch. I think, it's not... gonna challenge you at all. It's just light fare, but it's a good movie.
Is it more or less fun than The Wrestler?
It's more fun than The Wrestler.
That should be like your review on the box.
More fun than The Wrestler.
A little bit more fun than The Wrestler. Most
At no
things
point
are.
does Paige injure herself on purpose on a meat slicer. At no point.
I mean, that could have added something to the movie. You
Dude,
know?
I got that point. That moment in the movie, I was with him.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, fuck that.
Do it.
Yeah. He's got this little, like tiny man. Like, the manager was a normal sized person, but he's a goddamn behemoth yelling at him, and he's got people. When he goes to the ring, everyone's yelling for him, and now he's got this guy yelling at him. Like, what the fuck? The Wrestler's a good movie.
Yeah,
we should do that sometime.
I mean, it's horrific. It really
is horrific, and like made Roddy Piper cry. So,
oh man,
yeah,
dude, that's one of those ones that like I can't think of a good time to watch that movie. You know what I mean?
There's
like,
not
what's
a lot
the
of good
mood
times.
you find yourself in? You're like, you know what? Time to dig into
this
one.
That's a lot of Aronofsky's movies, right?
Yeah.
There's no good time to watch it.
The king of the feel-bad hit of the summer. While we were holing up and enjoying our bunker day, I enjoyed myself finishing off the Lord of the Ring trilogy.
Oh, yeah. I haven't done that for some stupid reason.
Man.
Because I was so pumped after the first one. I should. Oh, you know what? It was just the holidays.
Yeah, that old shit.
Yeah.
That old shit.
I should get
Man,
back
the
to it.
holidays falling in the middle of the week.
That's
this
the
year
worst.
Fucked everything up in my schedule,
Yeah.
dude. Like, I am already behind
Holiday
on a
on
video.
a Thursday is perfect because it's like, well, then I guess we got to be off Friday
Yeah,
too. Like
super
nobody's
long
gonna
weekend.
have work that Friday as
Yep.
well. Well, people will, but everybody's gonna generally agree that the boss who makes you do that is an asshole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, having like Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 weeks in a row occupied by holidays, completely fucked my
It's
schedule
the
up.
worst.
Dude, the Two Towers is so badass.
It's
the
so
Two Towers is
badass,
awesome.
yeah.
I think I like
When
overlook
Legolas
it.
slides down the stairs on that, I mean, it can't be overemphasized how cool that is.
Fucking cool
It's
as cool.
impossible, but it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, dude. Well, being an elf is impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
As far
Yeah.
as I know.
As far as, yeah.
I haven't tried that hard.
Yeah. Though we do have that listener, Sam the Elves.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know why when we shouted him out, we went with Delves instead of Delves, which is his
Yeah,
name and
better.
a verb.
That's definitely better.
Sam, we're making fun of you, kind of. Aren't
Kind
we?
of, sort of.
No.
We're just jealous.
No, we're just jealous. You got
really.
a great name.
Yeah.
Damn it.
But yeah, Two Towers is fucking awesome. Return of the King, dude, it just don't stop. It's
don't.
a fucking 20 out of 10.
It really, like, you keep, like, everybody was mad about it keeps ending, but it's like, it keeps ending all these epic storylines is
dude.
what keeps ending. Like,
Fine. Totally fine.
epic storylines that we've seen play out over like 7 hours, 8 hours of movie at that point. Of course, they're going to be a
end
lot
of your
endings.
journey.
Yeah.
So fucking good, man. Yeah, we didn't watch a whole lot else other than that. We went and watched Rise of Skywalker a second time with Kate's parents. I have the same feelings about it as before.
Okay.
Still was
So
entertaining.
Skywalker is now erect.
Yeah. Well, actually, the twist is it's actually about Skywalker retiring from being a Jedi, becoming a baker.
Oh,
Rising. Yeah.
Okay, Skywalker loaves maybe
that's
would be
right.
the name of that.
I think so.
Okay.
Something like that. So it's about the rise of Skywalker.
Rise. He says as he stands next to his bread as
Yeah.
it's rising.
In
And he
a
just
warm,
keeps
damp
going.
environment.
Rise.
We did see something that made me feel like I was tripping my balls off.
Okay.
One of the most nonsensical, bizarre fucking things I've ever seen. Central
excited.
Cinema was showing it down the street here, and just completely on a whim, we are like, you know what? We can make this showing. Let's go watch The Peanut Butter Solution. What in the name of Mother Dick is this movie?
I know of it as a cultural reference. I know it is very weird. I have never seen it.
Steven, this thing is a fucking fever dream.
Maybe I convince everybody to do it tonight for Friday night.
Oh my God, please
Yeah,
do.
we're recording on a Friday.
There's a rip of it on YouTube.
Yeah,
You can watch the
I'm
whole
sure
thing on
there
YouTube.
is. Yeah,
Dude, do you even want me to tell you what it's about? It might be better if you watch it tonight, just not even knowing.
that's it.
And we'll talk about it next time.
Let's talk about it next time. I'm sure I can convince everybody to watch Peanut Butter Solution.
I'm telling you guys, if you want to just see drugs, just drugs on screen,
Yeah, I do. I do want to see that.
it very, very much is a child's fever dream set
That's awesome.
in motion. Watch The Peanut Butter Solution. We'll talk about
Okay.
it on the next episode
Awesome.
or something. Holy shit, man. You guys watch anything good for the streaming chat?
Yes, we did not. Because that's how the
You watch
streaming chat
things,
is.
but not good things.
Yeah, we watched New Year's Evil, which
I've heard of that one, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean it's one we talked about in holidays where
yeah.
it's like perfectly titled because it says the idea is that it all happens on New Year's Eve, and if you're gonna watch a horror movie on New Year's Eve for some reason, you might be like, I'll watch New Year's Evil. It's terrible. It's
not
real
good, though.
bad. It's
Okay.
real slow. It's a who done it sort of, except that we know who done it. It's a we know who done it.
But nobody else in the movie know who did it.
Yeah, everybody else is trying to figure out who done it, but we already know. So for us, it's like, it's that one guy.
So what you're saying is like the cameraman spoiled the movie.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be a tight shot. He did
Right.
a wide shot. You could see who did it.
you can see very clearly who did it. And for the rest of the movie, it's like, well, it's that guy, the guy who keeps putting on disguises. The premise is that it's the killer is trying to kill someone for each new year in each time zone in America.
What?
It's stupid.
That doesn't make any sense.
There's also a new wave band, I put in quotes, because they're acting and dressed like the Sex Pistols, and then when they play, they sound like Boston. Which
I love it.
I don't know if anybody's aware, but that is not New Wave.
Yeah, those are not the same things.
Nope. So, yeah, it's terrible. Then we followed that up with Hellgate.
I have no idea what that is. Is that related to maybe a water or pizza gate?
Yep. It is related to Pizzagate, kind
If you were ranking those 3 gates, where would you put this one? What's your defined order?
All right, number 1 with a bullet, Pizzagate. Everybody's favorite.
The realist.
Number 2, Hellgate.
Okay,
Hell yeah.
right. So
and then Watergate, because like it was real and like sucked.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pizzagate's fun because it's not real at all. And crazy. So Hellgate, same.
What is a Hellgate then? It's a movie.
Okay. There's a crystal involved that shoots lasers.
Ooh, laser crystal.
There's
I assume you mean like a crystal hamburger.
There's something they keep calling a ghost town, which in this case means a town where people are dressed up like they're in the past.
But they're not like ghosts. And it's not an empty town.
But then later, they are ghosts. It made 0 sense. There were a number of boobs, though, which is like always the saving grace of these terrible Friday night movies.
Now, when you say a number, was it an even number or an odd number?
It may have been an odd number.
I prefer my boobs in even numbers, personally.
There was, one of the female characters was having sex while smoking.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's how we all felt.
Gross.
Yeah. And then the thing was, it didn't show her smoking at almost any other time in the movie. So it was a real indication of how bored she was during sex.
I bet that you can find this clip and more on smokefuck.net.
Smokefuck? Oh, God.
I mean,
wait,
it's got to be somebody's
Does that also have that Melisandre baby?
Yes, correct. Yes. That smoke baby.
So, okay. Well, I mean, Melisandre's on.
That's okay.
Yeah, I got it. Smoke fuck. Oh, that's so gross.
So Hellgate, not so much, huh?
No, Hellgate's terrible. So is New Year's Evil. Neither one of them are worth watching.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, I'm happy to be getting back into a somewhat normal routine after the holidays and stuff. I mean, I say normal, and it's like, well, not really, because like we're closing on our house.
Right, you still got
week.
all that stuff going on, right?
Yeah, so we still have some more stuff to move out of our house before it's sold. And then right after that, I go to LA to go to NAMM for a week. And then as soon as I get back, like I'm back, there's one day, then Kate leaves for Thailand.
Right, I
with her
forgot
sister
about that.
for a while. She gets back.
A whole bunch.
There's one day, and I leave for Shiprocked.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we're gonna have like 3 or 4 weeks where we see each other, maybe 2 days. It's gonna be intense.
In my marriage, that has never happened.
Yeah?
Not even close. I think the most, because my wife went on a cruise with her brother, because there was a lot going on there. There were some reasons.
It was on MormonSiblingCruise.com.
Right, Mormon sibling. My wife went on a cruise with her brother. They were gone for, I think, like 5 days. I think that's the longest that we've been separated.
Yeah, because I'm a rambling man.
Yeah, you
and I go and play
it.
all the honky tonks and stuff. I tend to be away more than most people. I guess the only time that we've been away for a significant amount of time since we've been married is whenever Kate went to Chicago with her mom and sister a couple of years ago.
She hopped on that train to Chicago.
Chirac, as they call it. Am I right? So it's going to be wild, man. And then basically as soon as she gets back, that's when we're probably going to start looking seriously at either, finding a bigger apartment or buying a condo or something like that. So I say getting back to normal life, it won't be for a while, honestly. Yeah. Hell, at this point, I don't even know if I have normal life at all, But I'll tell you what I did watch this week. It's a little movie called Frailty.
Yeah.
And it's good.
It is good.
I enjoyed it quite a lot, man.
Me too.
And this is a movie that kind of fits into a very specific niche genre in horror that is not often explored, but whenever it's done and it's done well, I think especially if you live and have grown up in the South, it hits really hard and very close to home. And that's kind of that weird sort of, I don't know what else to call it other than maybe Southern Gothic.
That is exactly what it is, Southern Gothic,
Yeah, this kind of fits nicely into that genre. And there's a few other noteworthy pictures and TV shows that I'd like to inform you busters about before we get into the review. So maybe if you guys get a hankering for some more Southern Gothic horror, you can find some other things to check out. So I'd say before we get into talking about the movie itself, let's just take a little sidetrack. Let's take a little detour ski over here into that Preview Palace.
Y'all just come on in now to the Preview Palace. Head on in.
Let's talk about some of our favorite examples of the Southern Gothic genre. Now, Steve, Webster's Dictionary defines Southern Gothic.
Let me give you a quick...
Break it down.
A quick definition. Essentially...
Do it like the Micro Machines guy.
Yeah.
Very quick.
That guy, he definitely could beat me because I am going to try to make this fast, but there's a good bit about Gothic literature that is pretty well known. It's dark. The idea of like there is some sort of like element of maybe a supernatural thing that mostly in early Gothic literature it never appears. There's just the concept that something could be there. Like a lot of early Gothic literature is more about the possibilities.
Okay.
So like being in like tunnels under a castle or something where it's dark and you can't see, and maybe hearing a noise or everything kind of getting tighter as you walk through. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Now, Southern Gothic, though, it takes that and also adds in the dash of Southern humor, and really developed during the Reconstruction era of after the Civil War.
Okay.
So it really had to do with the South dealing with this concept of their pre-war idea of this like Southern aristocracy of these like plantation owners who were basically in charge of the area, and their participation in slavery, the number
economy, everything based
the number of plantations that were basically just rotting now because no one could afford to upkeep them and things. All of this works perfectly in the Gothic landscape. And so you throw in a dash of Mark Twain and some Edgar Allan Poe and Ambrose Bierce, and you've got Southern Gothic. Basically, you take the Gothic, you add in our sense of like dark sense of humor, and then you wrestle with issues of right and wrong and good and bad, and things can be murky and
definitely
hard to understand.
And a lot of times there's a good hearty dash of just like super conservative, backwoods, snake handle Christianity.
Hoodoo.
Religious and hoodoo. And voodoo and
spiritualism
stuff too,
and stuff like that. But it's always with the twinge of kind of look at how stupid these people are. Not people saying look at how stupid Southerners are, but look at how stupid, say, these people involved in Christianity are or hoodoo. Like,
it always seems to be like a little bit of people that are still very much stuck in the Old South, people that haven't moved on.
Yeah, so there are always these characters, who are part of this old Southern aristocracy, and they're always sort of connected to ideas of civility and things, while they're also connected to racism. So like, there's always the obvious problem there when you're trying to talk about civility while also talking about enslaving an entire race of people, like where there's this tension. And Southern Gothic literature and also film and TV, they play on that tension by really showing you how ugly that like Southern charm can be.
Right, that's so romanticized and stuff. Yeah.
And I really recommend, if you want to know more about like these bits about the South, maybe you're not from the South and you want to understand this more, check out Trey Crowder's videos. He's done a lot of videos recently where he talks about the history of things like the term white trash and the terms redneck and things like that, to try to let people know, like,
I'd like to watch those.
They're very interesting because it really lets you know like this interesting ideology in the South where we pre-Civil War, like, it really was an aristocracy where there were the rich people and then there were the rednecks, meaning the white people who had to work. Like, the concept of white people having to work was like gross to rich people.
Yeah.
So there was always this like tension in the South between rich and poor, but then after the Civil War, those rich people lost everything and everybody became dirt poor.
They all became rednecks.
But those rich people still held to their like, I was part of this before the war, so they always thought themselves above the rednecks and the white trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that constant looming question of, where did you come from? Where did you go?
Yeah.
Where'd you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah, you gotta think about where Cotton Eye Joe was, where he's been, where he's gonna be, man. Yeah.
That's at the heart of all of this stuff.
So yeah, but like I'll just mention a few
give
Southern
me a couple
Gothic
of examples.
writers before we get into the movie titles. These are just some people you've probably heard of. Flannery O'Connor. Yeah, sure. A good man is hard to find. Good Country People. Good Country People is a fucking perfect example of Southern Gothic literature.
Okay, I don't know that
The
one.
title is perfectly ironic. Everything plays out exactly. Like, if you want to know what Southern Gothic literature is, check out Good Country People. William Faulkner, Tennessee Williams, Harper Lee, Truman Capote, Carson McCullers, like tons and tons of big names. James Dickey, who wrote Deliverance. More modern, we get Toni Morrison, Cormac McCarthy, Anne Rice, and Joe Lansdale.
Cormac McCarthy, I didn't think about him, but a lot of those things like No Country for Old Men and all that kind of fit into this same genre of just like how creepy a lot of the landscape down here can be when you just have these wide open spaces where you're like, somebody could kill me and throw me in a ditch or at the base of a tree. Nobody would ever know. Throw you in a bog if you're down in Louisiana. Nobody would fucking find out.
That's true.
That's like Cormac McCarthy and a lot of those other authors capture that stuff very well.
I would say things that still fit into Southern Gothic and are actually major elements would be things from Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
Yeah.
You look at, say, Missouri or Oklahoma. I mean, Missouri, you got like Mark Twain stuff, and Oklahoma, like those things, those places, despite the fact they might be considered the South a lot of times, they don't really have the history of Southern Gothic literature that the further South has.
Sure. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's interesting to learn about that stuff. Now, whenever you're talking about some of your ideal titles that fit into this sort of genre, there's a couple of TV shows that stand out here, first of all, and I think that True Detective Season 1 captures everything that we're talking about.
Lovecraftian so Southern Gothic is exactly what True Detective is. And Season 3 goes back to that Southern Gothic.
See, I haven't watched Season 2 or 3, man. I've heard that 3 is dynamite.
Yeah, it's got Mahershala Ali and sounds like it's great. Yeah. But 2 is
I've heard 2 is just awful, man. Yeah. But yeah, True Detective Season 1, it so captured that thing that like, man, I'm telling you, dude, even like back in my pizza delivery days, whenever, somebody would call in an order late at night and I have to drive out to wherever the fuck they are, like out in the sticks or out in the rocks of Talbot, as everybody knows, we call it the rocks. So there's rocks jutting up out of everywhere. And you drive by like 10 different chicken coops with like spray painted numbers on them, and you get back to this old shack. And again, there's that like, I could be killed and this guy could feed me to his chickens. Yeah. And the world would just think I vanished. I ran into so much of that shit that feels like stuff you saw in True Detective. Like whenever they go out to the house where the Yellow King is and all that stuff. Oh my gosh. I've delivered pizza to that fucking place, man.
Obviously.
Oh my God.
I lived in a house that looked a lot like some of those houses for sure, where it's just beaten up and old and needs a paint job but isn't gonna get it.
That show, dude, is so fucking fantastic. And it also captures again the religious fascination of the South while also dealing with the fact that you have characters like Matthew McConaughey's character in it, who is just so over religion and just fucking hates it so much.
People need to like recognize that is a part of the Southern identity and has been for a long, long time, of the people who are over religion.
People that gave up.
People have been over religion before slavery ended. Like that was a part of the Southern identity, is being over religion. Religion came back in a big way after slavery was eliminated. I mean, it was big for the
big tent revival.
Pre-Civil War, it was big for the rich because the preachers would justify what they were doing.
They had something to thank God for.
The preachers would be like, yeah, God's cool with you having slaves. Look, there's slaves all throughout the Bible. And then after that, like, well, they're not going to go. And the hillbillies, the rednecks, the white trash, they weren't going ever. So a lot of that mountain religion is what kind of kept going. That's why we have snake handlers. That's why we have our religion in the South is so fractured. Like,
yeah, very much.
Whenever you see Hollywood versions of religion, it's always Catholicism because Catholicism is the most nailed down. You come down in the South, there are hundreds of denominations. Like, you could go to a Baptist church and the Baptist across the street think you're going to hell.
Oh, yeah, absolutely so. Yeah, it's very fractured, very fragmented.
So there's always been the undercurrent of hatred of religion and this, like, disdain.
Even within religion.
Even within religion
groups.
Itself. Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah.
And True Detective, I just think, captures it so fucking well, man. And all the accents and everything are on point, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, they're both from Texas.
Yeah.
Woody and
Woody Harrelson, that's awesome, man.
He's so good.
Oh, my God, dude. He's fantastic.
Yeah, that's such a great show. This movie itself takes a lot of inspiration from The Night of the Hunter, which is a 1950s. It's sometimes classified as a horror. Okay. I'd say it's more of a thriller, but it involves a guy exploiting religion to get into people's homes to get stuff from them. Like,
okay.
Yeah. That one's, I think, nails the early Southern Gothic move in TV and TV and film.
Yeah,
But then we got things like, say, Deliverance. Like, it's hard to say Deliverance is a horror movie, but also it's hard to say that's not a horror movie. Like,
if you watch that and you're like, oh, it's just a fantastic family rom,
right?
You're fucked up.
Yeah, because it's horrific.
Yeah. And again, it deals with these like backwoods people that are stuck in time from some other era.
Yeah, the city, basically, in some ways, it is Lovecraftian in itself, where for these city people, it is so far removed from anything they could ever comprehend that they get into this situation that is outside of any realm of their control or understanding.
But for the hillbillies, that's the norm. Like, they're in their fucking element.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes shit like that fucking creepy for sure, man. I think maybe that first or second season of True Blood, the later seasons get really fucking silly and stupid.
I haven't seen any of it. I know Emily watched it and hated it, but watched every
They're not great, man. It's not great, but it does have a good vibe to it. And even like the intro theme music and stuff like that really plays into that very well, I think. It's kind of got that like Chris Isaac-y kind of thing going on. Not very good overall, but again, it's got that cool like swamp bayou landscape that is very visually effective.
Yeah, I mean that is, I mean, the Anne Rice is Southern Gothic, Southern Vampire Gothic, and I think her establishing them in New Orleans, in Louisiana, kind of did give credence to the ideas. Yeah, it's probably where vampires would live. It's kind of this, like, when you think of a swamp,
old world,
right?
Yeah,
but it also has these swamps where it's like not land, not water. Like the landscape sort of plays into the undead idea.
Yeah, dead and alive. Yeah, I can see some of that. Have you ever seen The Gift? I think that one.
The Gift,
has
Sam Raimi with
Cate
Blanchett and a number of
Giovanni
other people.
Ribisi, I think.
He's in that. Yeah.
It's been a while since I saw it, but I remember it being real fucked up. It's kind of like it's on that,
it's a
that
thriller.
edge of being a thriller.
Yeah.
But it's got some crazy shit in it, and again has that creepy backwoods feel.
I mean,
spades.
The one that I think not only exemplifies Southern Gothic but takes it to the next level is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you got the broken, the like falling apart old manors of this part of Texas, which were probably formerly owned by people who had money. I mean, when they're in that the house that their family owned, it's a pretty big house.
Yeah,
it's in an area where there's nothing going on, which makes you think, well, was it oil money? Was it all this other type of stuff? All this plays into the Southern Gothic of like this decay from former success, and then also this family whose values are out of whack and everything is different because everything they once knew has fallen apart. Like they used to be the people who killed cows. Now what do? They kill people.
Yeah. And again, that's got just those wide open spaces, that isolation and desolation that you see in so many parts of the South out here in the country. I mean, yeah, that one is definitely an exemplary a good example of what we're talking about here. That's what I was trying to say. What else we got on here that's a good example? Near Dark has a little bit of that going on,
I'd say
too.
Near Dark is probably right in line with that. It's vampires fit in Southern Gothic. I mean, they fit in Gothic literature automatically, but they really fit in Southern Gothic where you think they wouldn't, because it's sunny and warm in the South most of the time. It's not really, but they fit so well in Interview with a Vampire. They fit so well in Near Dark. Like,
it works.
There's just, like, I think the vampires in Near Dark are able to do something that the hillbillies in Deliverance do, which is portray not a savagery in the South, but an actual disdain for other people. Like, we talk about Southern hospitality and Southern niceness, but, like, in reality, there's a lot of hate in the South.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's just overflowing in a lot of places. So those vampires, they kind of exemplify that. They're like these perfect, like, hate machines. They just love murder and death. And Bill Paxton specifically in Near Dark just revels in hurting other people.
Call me Mr. Big Knuckle. Well, they kind of have that same thing that Saw Your Family from Texas Chainsaw has, where they're just out to take care of me and mine.
Yep, they don't care about anybody else. And there's that. That is very much a Southern reality.
Yeah,
I was going to say trope, but it's a reality.
What do you know about the tale of Ed Hardy
Pumpkinhead?
Pumpkinhead.
One of our early episodes.
I think episode number 2. I recall the audio on that episode being pretty fucked off.
Yeah, whatever.
It's free, y'all. It's free.
Pumpkinhead was, I mean, it's not the best movie ever, but it's very much Southern Gothic and has great effects, and really does play on that idea of, like, backwoods witch magic type of stuff. I told the story, I think, in that episode of when I was young, my mom taking my sister and I to a witch because we had
warts or something.
Yeah,
right?
we had suddenly gotten these warts on our hands. Like, I had like 5 or 6 warts.
Yeah.
And she took us to a witch who had buried some beans in a graveyard and then rubbed the beans on our warts. And of course it didn't work.
Well, that's the thing, though, is, like, you know, when you think about the South, of course you do think about very hardcore religious people, but there are so many old nature worship.
Yeah. Those are the rich people. When you think those are the people, when you think of the South, what you're thinking of are the plantation owners. You're not thinking of the rednecks. You're not thinking of the actual hillbillies, the people who are in the backwoods who don't give a shit about Jesus.
Right. Yeah.
Or if they do, he's just a part of their whole mythology that they use to heal people with tree bark and shit. Like, it doesn't have anything to do with
that's the thing. Is, like,
Christianity.
There's just as much of a tradition of, old fucking swamp witches and nature worshipers and all that here in the South, too.
Yeah.
You know, and definitely Pumpkinhead gets into some of that.
Pumpkinhead's way into that. And it's Stan Winston, so
special effects are fucking awesome, man. What about, like, Killer Joe? That's not really
Killer
horror.
Joe. Yeah, but it's,
God, man, that shows the ugly side of the South.
It does.
Woo.
And this movie, they both have Matthew McConaughey.
Again,
they both have a sheriff who is in charge and doing evil things without people's knowledge. And that is so common in the South. I mean, the entirety of Cock County's police force got arrested at one point, I remember. Our entire police force in a full county, because they were selling drugs and running gambling and, like, selling moonshine and shit. It was crazy.
All kinds of shit. Yeah, there's definitely a long-standing history of authority figures and policemen.
Just think of Boss Hogg.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a long-standing tradition of them being corrupt and doing fucked up stuff. And Killer Joe definitely features a lot of. Not an easy movie to watch.
No, it's not. That
again, I don't know when I'll be in the mood to watch that shit again.
Yeah, that scene where he makes Gina Gershon suck on that
hot dog
chicken leg
or chicken. Yeah, it's a chicken leg. God damn, dude, it's pretty unwatchable. It's
brutal.
Yeah,
but it's Southern Gothic. I would say, just to throw some other ones out there, like Big Fish, Sling Blade, stuff like that.
Yeah, Stoker.
Stoker is one that is well worth talking about because it's directed by a Korean director.
Oh,
but it perfectly nails Southern Gothic.
Those are two cultures I don't see overlapping.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's a well shot, really pretty movie, but it's real fucked up.
Right on, man. And of course, you also have some other shows like Preacher and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, Preacher.
They get
set in
into that
Texas.
as well.
It's got. They got their definite fantastical elements for the Gothic. American Horror Story as well has Coven and Roanoke, which are both Coven set in Louisiana, Roanoke set in North Carolina. Yeah, they both play into the Southern Gothic ideas. So it's a
Town That Dreaded Sundown. Both of those.
The Town That Dreaded.
Forgot about that one.
The
That's
first one
another
in the remake. Yeah,
I wasn't really nuts about either one, honestly.
No, they both don't get too good for me, but
people like them, so maybe we're in the minority.
I mean, the Sackhead idea, wasn't that before Jason? The Town That Dreaded Sundown was like 80, I think, or 79, 80, and then Jason, the first one with Jason was 81, where he had the
bag
sack
on his head. Yeah. So it was very.
So that was an interesting element, but yeah, it's not the most fun movie.
Yeah, but this kind of genre, whenever it's done well, again, like I said, maybe it's just especially for us since we grew up in this landscape and have seen it and been around our whole lives. Maybe it's more effective to us.
I think so.
But whenever it's done well, it's extremely effective.
Yeah. I think some elements of Southern identity are understandable or recognizable to a lot of other groups. Like, say, for instance, when I watch Trailer Park Boys or Letterkenny, I see that Canada obviously has a full-on population of people that would fit right into the South. Like, you can also
blend.
You can also see it in some British shows and movies where there are obviously people in that would fit right in right here. So like, it's all over the English speaking world at least.
And I would definitely say that Frailty fits in as one of those movies that actually does this shit really well.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this flick. I had seen it years ago, a long time ago, probably like 8 or 9 years ago, I think. We had a day where it was like raining, it was nasty outside, it was freezing cold. It's kind of like what it is right now. And we just decided to hole up and watch movies all day. And this is one that we just happened to watch and have a Domino's pizza delivered while we watched the movie. So I don't know why I remember
what do you get on a Domino's pizza?
So a thin crust.
I was going to say crust.
It's got to be a thin. The regular
Domino's
bready.
does have the best thin. Their cracker crust.
It's crackery. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
They do have the best.
So I always go for a thin. I get a pepperoni.
Okay.
I'll get a mushroom.
Right.
And a green pepper.
That's good.
I think it's just a classic trio of ingredients. I get that from just about anywhere, honestly. But from Domino's, I think that with the thin crust actually works pretty fucking good. Domino's isn't.
It's not amazing.
The best, but it is categorically pizza.
That's true, and their thin crust is consistent.
Yeah, totally.
Though I do prefer the pan pizza there, or it's hand tossed is what they call it. Yeah, they're hand tossed.
What do you get on that thing?
I mean, the best trio. I don't eat it anymore because I don't eat pork. But is bacon, jalapeno, and pineapple.
You've sung the praises of that trio before.
Yeah, I think they're amazing. But if you don't like pineapple on your pizza, my favorite is feta, black olives, and Italian sausage.
Oh, a little Greek action there, huh?
Yeah.
A little Grecian.
Yeah, but again, I don't eat pork, so now I just get feta and black olives or just pineapple and jalapeno.
He's gone kosher. So we watched this movie while we were scarfing down a Domino, and I remembered really enjoying it and being like, wow, this is not what I expected it to be. But then rewatching it the other night for the show, I was like, yeah, I don't remember anything about this movie. I remembered it completely differently. I forgot that so much of the movie was flashbacks and stuff. Like, in my memory, it was like Matthew McConaughey going around swinging an axe and killing people. Like, I don't know what exactly happened because I usually remember stuff better than that, but this is like watching
real
it for the
into
first
that
time.
pizza.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the pizza. I mean, clearly I remember it very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a good treat for me, man. When's the last time you saw it?
The first time I saw this, I caught it on TV. I don't remember what channel it was on, but I don't remember it being edited, so it must have been one of the movie channels. But it was like 2006, maybe.
I mean, there's not too much to edit out of here, though.
That's
honestly.
True. That's true. I mean, it's brutal, but there's no blood, no sex, no nudity. Yeah. So yeah, I remember just seeing. It may have been like on USA or TNT even. Yeah. But I remember seeing it just as a fluke. It was just on TV and being like, whoa, what was that? And then I think maybe a couple years later, I wanted to go back to it because I just remembered really enjoying it. So I think I watched it again, and then I was working on something a few years ago. It was a Southern Gothic comic book that basically I was researching when God tells people to kill, and I watched Frailty again, and I was just like, this movie holds up because like it has a twist, maybe even more than one twist, but like watching it knowing the twist, it's a different movie.
Yeah, I wanted to watch it again, honestly. Yeah, because I totally didn't remember the twists and stuff that happened at the end. So as soon as I finished it, I was like, God damn, I hope I get time to watch this. Totally didn't. But it would still be a fun watch to see it again, even knowing what happens.
And that is the writer, Brent Hanley, he wanted that. He wanted it to have this a rewatchability where when you go back and see it, knowing what is revealed, it has a different sort of way of looking at it. And this is something that, like, twists can work so effectively when they work like they do in this movie, where you can go back and watch it and go, oh, I see it.
There were clues all along, yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't see it up to that point. Then there are the twists that you catch too early, and then you're just bored the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Because they're like dangling these things, and you're like, I already got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. And then they're
the ones that are just like that couldn't have possibly happened.
So the ones where it's like,
twist.
that makes no sense. Yeah. So Frailty, you enter when you decide to do a twist, you enter into like dicey territory. And Frailty, I think, does a good job of making what ends up being two movies: the movie you watch when you don't know the twist, and then the movie you watch when you do know the twist.
Yeah, definitely.
And Bill Paxton said about this when he was talking about it on the director's commentary. He said that in the first movie, when the first time you watch it through and you don't like know the twist, it's a horror movie. The second time you watch it through, it's a tragedy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it really is. When you know what's going on, you're just like, oh no. Like these poor boys.
No
like,
kidding.
Whole
dude,
time.
that's something I have in my notes where I'm just like, this is way more sad than it is scary.
Yeah.
You know, those poor fucking kids going through that shit, which is a very, very real situation.
It's a real situation.
Talk more about that
we need to.
I'm sure you're able to dig up a lot of great information given how well documented this film is on the Wikipedia page.
I was really surprised by this. That this movie, I never read anyone, like I don't watch YouTube videos about the movies we do or read anyone else's commentary about it, but I like to get to the primary sources, and normally the best way to do that is go to Wikipedia and just look at the linked sources. Well, in this case, that wasn't easy to do, and then I also found that there wasn't a ton out there to be found. I mean, if you look at the IMDb trivia part, what you'll find is it repeats itself over and over and over.
5 things total, but it's like 30 entries.
Yeah, a whole lot about why the axe is named Otis, and it's just like, yeah, but like the thing that you keep saying is that Bill Paxton just didn't have any idea. Like he wanted it to have a name so people would recognize it later. That was it. Like, why do we keep talking about why it's named Otis? It's just named something so later when Matthew McConaughey grabs it, we can go, oh, it's the same axe.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a visual marker more than anything.
Yeah, so it was hard to find some information, but then like I started going through old interviews and stuff and finding out about what was going on here. Basically, Bill Paxton just wanted to direct a movie. He had directed before this the video for Barnes & Barnes' Fish Heads.
I don't know what that is.
Which was an SNL like short back in 1980.
Okay.
Maybe you've heard the song. Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads.
I've not heard this.
Okay.
This sounds mental.
It is. Yeah. I mean, early SNL made no sense.
No.
Yeah. But he directed that music video. He hadn't directed anything since then, but he wanted to get into directing. And he basically just had, I don't know, this mentality of he wanted to do something with his Texas friends. which is what this ends up being. Brent Hanley, the writer, is from Texas. Matthew McConaughey from Texas. Powers Booth is from Texas. Bill Paxton's from Texas. Like, he was really going for, let's get all our Texas bros together and make a movie. Brent Hanley had written this script basically inspired by the Night of the Hunter, which I said earlier, and also just Hitchcock films in general. He was really interested in playing up the mystery elements and stuff.
Yeah.
But also it's obviously inspired by Southern Gothic literature and inspired by the reality of people killing in the name of God.
Now, you mentioned a Joseph Kallinger earlier.
Yes.
I don't know who that is.
Big
you said
inspiration.
This is kind of inspired.
Uh-huh.
I think before I hear about such dastardly acts, I'm going to need to get a pull.
Yeah. I would love
Do you feel like we should?
I think a pull is appropriate.
How about a pull that was donated to the show by our good buddy Grayson Hester?
Who we will one day have on this show.
Yeah, very soon.
We've
been
really
promising
want
it.
to.
We've been teasing it.
And we finally have the setup. So.
Yeah, that's right. We got the means to make it happen. So Grayson was in town for the Christmas holiday, and we saw him a couple days afterwards and hung out, took that boy to an Adopo pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Goddamn, Adopo's so good.
It is good. It is good.
And he brought us some Creature Comforts Brewing Company from Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
It is their Tropicalia India Pale Ale, which promises to be ripe and juicy, aromatic, and balanced.
I'll tell you this. I love a tropical pale ale.
As do I.
Big fan. So I'm excited for this. Oh, it smells. Oh, that smells nice.
It's good, man. It's an easy drinker, too. Easy drinker. It's a drink that you drink so easy. Phil Collins. I have a feeling that you're going to like this very, very much. It's just a very delicious
I wish Phil Collins
beer.
ended all of his songs with Phil Collins.
That's the thing. Rappers say their names all the time.
Fear Collins.
Dude, the rap singers do it all the time.
That's true. And nobody bats an eye.
What about at the end of all these great epic 80s metal anthems if we would have just gotten Dio Megadeth?
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt.
Judas Priest.
Yeah. What if, though, just for fun, the producer had come in, like, DJ Khaled, and just been like, Rick Rubin! Like, if that were if that were a Beastie Boys album, where just suddenly Rick Rubin came in.
That would work. It could happen. Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy this beer. It is just a nice, delicious, not too heavy-duty Judy kind of brew. It's not a cloudy guy. It's sort of a clear beer. It's one of the clear beers you've heard about.
Oh, yeah.
There's a clear in my beer.
And I'm crying for you, dear. That's great.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
It's like drier than I was expecting it to be. Mm-hmm. I thought it would be like super sweet.
Yeah, because it smells really fruity, but it's actually not that sweet.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me of some stuff from Pretentious, honestly.
Yeah, it does. It's got...
I'm okay with it.
Oh, it's got that like fruit punch, but also citrusy stuff going. That's good, man.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Good job, Grayson.
We like that, Grayson.
You're a good boy.
Good boy, Grayson.
Just a good old boy. Okay,
so Joseph Kallinger.
Tell me about him.
So this is loosely based somewhat off of him.
Is he a naughty boy?
Joseph Kallinger. This is how I think Brent Hanley came up with the idea for the duality of the story is Joseph Kallinger's actual life. Because Joseph Kallinger killed because he said God told him to, and he forced his 12-year-old son to be involved in the killing, and he also killed one of his teenage sons who tried to turn him into the cops.
This sounds like this movie.
Yeah. So you hear all that and you go, man, what a bastard. But then let's rewind a little bit and hear about Joseph Kallinger's growing up life. So
I bet it was real normal and
good. It was real normal. Yeah. So his parents died when he was like 7.
Okay.
He was adopted by a couple who the father was extremely abusive. Trigger warning, if you don't like to hear about child abuse, this is gross. So his father would make him kneel on jagged rocks He would lock him inside closets. He'd make him eat his own shit.
Okay, that took a turn. These other things were just kind of like, that's kind of bad.
Right.
That took a twist. Okay.
He would make him harm himself.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. He would burn him with hot irons, whip him with belts, and starve him. So some of that actually comes into this.
That's a hard knock life.
Yeah. When he was 9, he was sexually assaulted by a group of neighborhood boys.
Good God.
Unrelated to his abusive dad.
Because he didn't have enough going on at home.
The real sad part that got me was that in 9th grade, he got into theater and he really wanted to become a playwright. And he was happy. He was happy for a quick moment.
Aww.
And then he got married and had kids, and he didn't know how to raise kids except the way he was raised. So then he was extremely abusive. And that's when one of his sons went and turned him into the police. And then he took out a life insurance policy on all of his sons, and then 2 weeks later, his son disappeared.
All right, so he was frugal.
Yeah, that's true.
The man knew how to count a dollar.
Yeah. But so you can see the inspirations there, obviously. Like I didn't want to go too in depth about all of his stuff, but like that, he would take his teenage son and then go and say, like, God said to abduct that person. And
what was his reasoning for why he needed to kill these people?
God told him to do it.
But was it like they were demons, like it's presented in this movie?
I didn't find, like, there is, in fact, a book that was going to be written about him, but then there was the lawsuit about a book about Manson or something, which made it so that serial killers couldn't make money off of their crimes, and I think he backed out of the book deal.
I'm going to say that's probably a good law.
It is a good law.
I'm going to say that's probably a good
The woman who was writing the book at the time had already spent like $100,000 of her own money researching the book, so that sucked. She spent like $1,200 a month on phone calls, and that reminded me that the prison phone call industry is predatory and terrible.
Wow.
You can't just call a prison. You have to call to their company that then charges $5 a minute or $20 a minute or whatever they want to charge for you. To be able to talk to your nephew who got put in jail for weed or whatever.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, so she had spent a bunch of money trying to make the book, and I think I would be interested in knowing more. And I'm sure there is some more information out there, but it wasn't readily available.
Man, so this is definitely a big inspiration for how this movie goes.
But you know what's the biggest inspiration, Ben?
What?
The Bible.
The Bible?
Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
What do you mean? Is there somebody in there what is maybe tempted to kill people?
A feller named Abraham. You may have heard of him.
Father Abraham.
Yeah.
He had many sons.
Many
sons had Father Abraham.
That's true, and he took one of them, tied him up, and was going to kill him.
Because the voices in his head told him to.
And then the voices in his head said, nah, look at that ram over there. Just kill that instead.
J/K.
You gotta kill something, though.
Yeah, seriously, though, something's gotta die.
So I wanted to talk about that just a tiny bit so that
it's definitely in this movie for sure.
Yeah, it's all in there. So that we could get into the history of that. One, it comes from a Greek myth. And in the Greek myth, Phyrexis and Helle, they are kids and they are being they're being used as a sacrifice, and they're saved by a ram.
Okay, all right.
Well preceded the Abraham story.
That's impossible. Everything in the Bible is original.
Yeah. Number two, a large number of scholars believe that the original probably was Abraham sacrificed his son Isaac.
Oh.
And then it was changed later because that was distasteful.
It's a little dark.
Yeah.
It's a little grim.
Yeah.
Audience reaction, no good. Change the ending.
Yeah. So
they hate rams.
The thing is, the Bible is not, like, that's not the only time in the Bible somebody offers a child sacrifice to God.
Or the only time God tells people to kill other people.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Happens a
God
lot.
tells people to kill other people a lot in the Bible, but specifically Jephthah says that he will offer unto God a sacrifice, the first thing that comes out of his house. And of course it's his daughter, not a sheep or something. And then, like, he puts it off for a little bit and then eventually sacrifices her. Though the people who want to make you believe that human sacrifice isn't in the Bible, pretend that she became a nun and that the sacrifice was her becoming a nun instead of him actually killing her.
But he killed her. Oh my.
So the thing is that religion feeds off of mental illness.
Yeah.
It needs mental illness. It needs the people who will believe without any sort of like evidence. It needs the people who will take it further, who will say, not only are all those things true, but God's talking to me right now.
I'm
and
getting
he's
updates on the hour every hour. I've got a direct line of communication.
It's the weird. Okay, so like that was one of the things that drove me to Mormonism was their modern day prophecy, because I was like, well, if God ever talked to anybody, why did he stop talking?
Right. Yeah.
Like, because
there's so many things like that. Yeah. No more burning bushes.
Yeah. So why would he stop talking? And the Mormons were like, he didn't. He's got prophets now. And now I'm like, yeah, well, they're full of bullshit and whatnot. $100 billion. That's how much money.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That's how much money they have. You know what?
That could fix a lot of problems.
They say they spend a whole lot of it on helping people. Spend about $40 million a year.
That's not much out of that many billion.
Oh yeah, like $1 fell out of my pocket.
Whoops.
Like that's kind of like I help people out. $1 fell out of my pocket once. Anyway, fuck those people.
Holy shit.
But the point is that like that prophecy, the concept of prophecy is just accepted now. Like you look back on it, accept it, but you have to realize that when these people were talking, they were crazy people.
Right. Yeah.
Like even if you don't think they are crazy, if you think they were right, when they were talking, the people they were talking to are like you walking down the street, hearing somebody on the sidewalk yelling about something.
Right. Yeah. You go,
it's just,
who's this crazy asshole?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even if you accept now and say that they were prophets, you have to accept that at the time they were crazy people.
I mean, dude, it's like Pinkerton all over again. We know it's one of the greatest rock albums of all time now, but when it came out, people didn't understand it.
They had no idea.
Tired of sex?
El
I'm tired of Weezer.
What?
El Scorch No is more like
That's
it.
what they said. I bet that was the Rolling Stone like review. El Scorch O. El Scorch No. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, like there is like, and you know, the thing is that people can buy into insanity, like
very easily, especially fucking children.
Yeah, for some reason we all have this like this desire for the world to be more fantastical, more mythical. We want it to be.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, we've talked about it before. Neither of us believes in ghosts, but I'd love it if they were real.
Be pretty sick.
It'd be fucking cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If haunted houses were real, it'd be fun.
And if there were people with psychic abilities and
that'd
powers.
That'd be great.
And...
I mean, scary, because then you'd be like, who knows what I'm thinking right now?
Yeah.
But it would be interesting. The world would be a bit more interesting and less mundane.
Yeah, for sure.
And I understand you want that. I get that. But that is kind of what religion is a way of like pacifying that feeling of like, so this is just it, huh?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is like that can all be, you know, crazy, but good and fine.
It can be good and fine
when it's one person acting on their own.
Yeah.
And they maybe feel like they're receiving guidance about good decisions in life and how to be a good person.
And they
so
never
on.
receive guidance that they think, oh, is that right to do?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
this movie and other real life examples that we're talking about go into that thing where it's like, what if you just had this revelation where the voice in your head that you call God
said, kill this person you don't know.
They're demons. They're not even people.
Yeah.
You don't even have to feel bad about it because they're not even human.
Right.
And that's essentially what happens to Bill Paxton in this movie as the father of this. He's a single father of these two boys, Fenton and Adam.
Adam, yeah.
And he receives...
That is a very particular choice, those names, too. Because only one of them is biblical.
Yeah.
And he's the one who follows him.
Right.
The other one, he has a name that actually would be more common in Southern communities than Adam.
Yeah. I thought about that same thing too. I was like, that's a odd dichotomy of those two names there. Yeah. Bill Paxton receives this vision from God, and he just completely doesn't even hesitate, just accepts as a fact, wakes the boys up. Boys, this is what's going on. We've got to get a list of 7 names.
Yep.
God's chosen me to kill these demons and stuff. It's never even revealed like what happens with him. Like it's never revealed that he had just this psychotic break.
Well,
like he seemed very well adjusted.
It's a perfect time and circumstances for him. So we don't know what happened to their mom.
Yeah,
but we have to assume she died or left. In either case, very stressful event. This is Bill Paxton. He's probably in his mid-30s. I think he's playing early 30s to late 20s. As like this young single father.
I would guess early 30s. Yeah. Because Fenton's like 11 or something.
These are the times when mental illness starts to present itself in stressful moments and in your late 20s, early 30s. So he is experiencing this, and like this can happen with people with schizophrenia, is that you have experience with schizophrenia up to the point that like it really starts to hit. So you aren't fully frightened by it when it actually happens. Like, you've kind of had these experiences your whole life, and now when it's starting to hit as like a regular event in your life where you're hearing voices or seeing things that aren't there, you've already had these moments leading up. So most people in their first experiences with schizophrenia aren't exactly frightened so much as dumbfounded or like confused. But like this
again, that's the problem with religion being wrapped up in mental illness
because
and stuff
then
too.
It can easily become like rationalized and joyful, a great thing.
Like that's the thing, is like if either of our heathen asses suddenly started talking to somebody that was in the room that the other person couldn't see,
it'd be like, that person is not there, go to a psychiatrist.
Either of us go, holy shit, I need to go to the doctor right the fuck now,
because I thought I saw a person, I was talking to them, and you don't see them. So that is a problem.
Yeah, clearly my brain is not functioning as it should. I need to go get help. But the thing is if you're of the mindset that these things are all around us and they're invisible, and if you get visited by one, it's a rare gift.
Yes.
Then the psychosis, like you said, becomes a joyous experience. Yeah. And a blessing. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's just a lethal combination, because you're able to immediately explain away why you're seeing this shit and hearing this shit that nobody else can hear.
And not to say that being a single parent is a purposeless existence, but I bet it feels like that a lot.
It's gotta be tough. I can't imagine.
So he's probably felt like, alone, okay, so I'm alone. I just go to work. I come home. I take care of these boys. That's it. That's the rest of my life until they are grown up. And now he's got a purpose.
Yeah, to receive this special extra message of like, my life is going to amount to more than even what I have here. Yeah. Yeah,
and I mean, they're happy before this. They're happy before.
Yeah, they don't seem to be a dysfunctional, like, so he's not a fucking drunk or an alcoholic or abusive. Like, he seems to treat the boys good otherwise, you know?
Which is why it's so surprising to Fenton, and also probably why Adam goes along with it so well, because he's like, well, my dad's never been mean to me.
Man, so. I love that moment in the movie where it's like, you know, he wakes up the boys and tells them about this vision. Fenton wakes up the next day and he's like, what the fuck was this about? Maybe it was just a dream.
Yeah, hoping
and
that
they
it's
don't
over.
mention it at the breakfast table. He goes and drops the kids off at school, and just just with total, like, this is normal everyday conversation. He's like, hey boys, don't tell anybody about what we talked about last night. And you're just like, fuck, this is real. Nope. This really happened.
Wasn't a dream.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. It's so grim whenever it reaches that part.
It really is. And then we, you know, like, taking notes for this was hard for me because, like, the story seems very straightforward. It's just guy goes crazy, starts thinking he hears voices, and then starts killing these people
this past and present narrative of, like, it's Matthew McConaughey telling the sheriff this story to reveal.
And Matthew McConaughey, we're assuming, is Fenton, the one who didn't want all of this to be happening.
Yeah, and he's saying my brother Adam, the one who went along with it, is the God Hand killer that has been terrorizing.
And we do find out, and that is true. Adam is a serial killer.
Yeah.
So they're both serial killers. They've both grown up, but one of them thinks he's killing... Okay, Adam's killing demons, right? Fenton's killing people.
Yeah, Fenton's killing people because he got buried in the backyard for a week and went nuts.
Yes. But then... Okay, so here's the thing that I think about this. That this... The thing is that what seems like the twist at the end of this movie is that the dad and Adam were right.
That's the thing to me that I took from this too. And, even like while I was watching the movie, even before you reach the twists and stuff, like in the middle of the movie, actually it's not even in the middle. It's whenever Bill Paxton goes and drives for like 45 minutes to a county he's never been to.
Yeah.
Like he was reading a map. He said he didn't need a map or anything. Mm-hmm. He goes to that like nurse's house, knocks on her door, and says her name.
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is like right there, right when all this shit starts happening, he knows the names of these people that he's never fucking met.
Okay.
So it's right. But then again, you can look back and go, well, the narrative is being told by this fucking crazy guy.
Yeah. So, the narrative is unreliable, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
At the end, no, demons aren't real. The narrative tells us that they are, because the narrator is a liar.
Well, because the narrator wants to believe he's on this mission from God.
He wants to believe that the entire time he's been killing people from childhood, he's not been evil. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you even think, like, towards the end there, whenever he lays his hands on Powers Booth and sees that Powers Booth killed his mom and stuff, do you think that's real?
I don't think so, no.
So you think he just fucking
I think
killed him?
all those visions are fake. Like, I think they're all just delusion. Like,
that's the thing,
he's seeing his dad in this super stressful situation. He says that he saw, every time his dad grabbed, he saw what his dad saw. So his dad never said what he saw, so we can't confirm it. That's true. No way we can confirm it. So, like, the child believed, oh, they're each individual killers. The only one where his dad said exactly what happened was he killed babies, is what he says about the older man, the second person.
Yeah.
He killed babies. So that's the one that we can maybe say, like, okay, Adam would know what his dad thought there, but the other ones he didn't
never
say.
said.
So Adam just filled in the blanks.
That's true.
Was just like, okay, like, this must be what he's seeing because he's my dad and he wouldn't lie.
But it's showing you, too, that to these people that are involved in the situation, their truth is the truth.
Yeah.
You know, they really do wholeheartedly believe in what they're doing.
And that is why Adam is a perfect example of that, is that he's raised in it. He's raised in the delusion. He doesn't have to even experience schizophrenia himself or dissociative identity disorder or anything of the sort, because he believes he's right from childhood.
Yeah.
So he can't be convinced.
That's the scary, sad part of all this stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, how we were talking about, you know, again, that perfect synthesis of psychosis and religion and what that can do to adults. But then the really sad part of this is like whenever you're talking about kids that are so impressionable and so wanting to make their parents happy and be like them and do what they're doing.
Yes.
I mean, dude, Adam, like 8 or 9 years old, like makes his own kill list. He's like, God told me to kill these people.
Right.
And Bill Paxton's like, those are just normal people. He didn't tell you that. And Adam's like, yeah. That's fucking sad.
I also wonder how true it is, actually, now that I think about it, that Fenton is a serial killer. Because at the end, like, all that stuff is in Fenton's house.
Yeah.
But we know that was Adam's list.
Mm-hmm.
That we see at the end.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, so that was Adam's list. It seems like he set up Fenton for all the murders he did, which is another indication that he's lying. He knows that he's not doing the right thing. He's come to that conclusion, but he's also convincing himself it is right.
Huh.
Like,
do you think it's possible that Fenton didn't grow up to be a serial killer?
It's possible Fenton just grew
framed
up
him
to be a normal individual. Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah.
But that would make it even easier for Adam McConaughey to continue getting away with the crimes. It's to say, oh, this guy was the killer, and the killer killed himself, so it's over. And stop looking for the God Hand killer.
And also the big reveal.
I hadn't thought about that.
The big reveal at the end that he's sheriff in this other town.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like with him having that law enforcement background, he would know exactly how to frame his brother to make it look like he did it all.
The one thing that my explanation cannot explain is what happened to the tape. Like, why the videotape didn't show his face, and particularly seemed to be covering just his face.
Oh, yeah, that did
That's
happen,
the one thing, but, I mean...
I forgot about the tape.
It could be coincidental. It could be, but that is the real, like, sticky wicket. That's the real, like, spanner in the works.
Yeah. How did that happen?
How did that happen?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the whole thing with, like I said, kids being influenced by their parents and their religious beliefs and everything. If you just want to see how sad it gets, watch Jesus Camp. Have you watched Jesus Camp? It's fucking sad. It's really fucking sad. And again, I grew up
It's hard to watch that movie.
It's very hard to watch. Yeah. And I grew up religious, but not like crazy snake handling religious, like we never.
Though I would say that your religious upbringing is probably crazy to most people outside of this.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I knew other kids that
had it worse.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, that went to churches where they spoke in tongues and fell down and shook and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, and you can see it in Jesus Camp and everything too, where it's like 8-year-olds should not have they should not be fucking speaking in tongues and feeling like God is talking through them and making them speak this language that they don't understand and all this shit. But they see it and they do it, and they see the acceptance of the community that it grants them, and they see that it's this special blessing that you're supposed to get. And they'll do it. They'll convince themselves that it's real.
Yes, of course they will.
It's fucking sad.
Because kids emulate adults. That's what they do.
Yeah.
The thing that bothers me the most about that, like, the churches where they get real, like, up and, like, run around and speak in tongues and stuff is that what they're exploiting is adrenaline. They're exploiting the fact that you'll feel better if you start doing all that stuff, which is the truth of most people. If you start doing all that, you're going to get a shot of adrenaline, you're going to feel better, and then
working out releases endorphins.
And then afterward, when you leave, you're going to feel worse, and you're going to be like, I guess I felt better because I was in church.
I need to go back and get it again. Yeah, you're just making your body produce its own natural drugs.
The preachers
and
know
you need
that.
Another hit.
The preachers know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they're not doing that because they are feeling the spirit. They're doing that because they know how to manipulate. So you're getting manipulated.
But dude,
anyway.
I'll even put it this way. Like, I remember there being times, like, when I was a kid, and maybe I just gotten into like playing music and stuff. And I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was a member of my family or somebody asked me, like, they saw that I was getting super obsessed with guitar. That's all I wanted to do is play music and stuff. And it was like, what if God asked you to quit?
Jesus.
And that really, honest to God, entered my head.
Yeah.
And it became
this
this like obsession in my mind of just like, oh my God, what if he did? What would I do? Would I do it?
I remember religious mindset. The scary thing about religious mindset is looking back on it and going, no, I was fully convinced for a while.
Well, I was so easily influenced when I was a kid, man. I was extremely, extremely easily influenced. Like most kids are.
Yeah.
I don't think that's unusual in my case.
Yeah. And also looking back on it makes me think like in most cases, there's no reason to argue with a religious person. There's no reason to even have a conversation about it. No. They are unconvinced of anything you say. It doesn't matter what you say or how correct it is.
It's no different than one of them talking to us. I mean, it's just water off a
that
duck's
is
back.
true. Yeah. Though we have proof of our beliefs.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is really dealing with a lot of that religious ambiguity, of that possibility that you're just crazy. The thing is, though, that like I experienced this just recently. I experience it pretty regularly, I would say, where so I was leaving my house, and as I was walking out the door, I thought, I should grab my hoodie or my what do you call that thing you put on your head that keeps you warm? Toboggan. There you go. There you go. Anyway, so I should grab that, I thought, as I walked out the door, and then I was just like, whatever, and I just kept going, and then I got where I was going, and then my head was cold, my ears were cold, and I thought to myself, like, when I was religious, anytime I had that, like, inkling of something, I would be like, oh, I should do it then.
Exactly.
Yeah, I should do it.
Totally the same.
And then, like, there are times now where it's like, I should have done that. And I realized it's just your intuition. It's like, it's cold.
That's all it is.
Your ears are going to get cold probably. You should probably grab that cap over there.
You've probably done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, as a religious person, it was just like,
it's hard to outgrow.
Okay, whatever it is. Like, if it comes to mind, I must need to do it.
Yeah. It's that still small voice.
That's what they call it.
That's what they fucking call it. And yeah, you're right. It's like, usually it's just, I've done this before, and my head was cold.
It makes the most sense. It was 30 degrees yesterday. It's probably cold. Duh.
But again, when you have that inkling of, I can receive voices in my head.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's what it becomes.
If you followed your intuition so many times and it's been right, which it probably is because you're just thinking, oh yeah, in the past I've done this. And in the past that's been successful. I should probably do that now. So your intuition reminds you to do this, and then you do it and it works out for you. You're like, oh, okay, I really need to follow that voice. And then if that voice ever turns on you, say you have dissociative identity disorder, schizophrenia, any number of things, that can become, I mean, that happens with people with bipolar where they're following their mood. So they follow the mania. They follow the depression. So their brain says, like, you need to do this right now. Just get it done. Go do it. And you do it. And then the depression says, you should just probably sleep all day. And they do it because they're following that intuition, because most of the time following your intuition is a pretty good idea. Because it's just your brain reminding you of things you already know.
Yeah, it knows this pattern.
Yeah. But once the mental illness steps in, it can become this thing that really guides you the wrong way. And then religion can exploit that.
Yeah.
They can exploit the fact that you know that following your intuition works and start to say, like, doesn't this seem like your intuition? Doesn't this seem like the thing you should do? And then you're like, I guess.
Is it your voice in your head or is it mine?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. And like I said, just the way that kids will see that and join in on it to gain approval of their parental figures and stuff. It's fucking sad, man.
Now, what do you... I really thought there was something interesting about the axe and the gloves.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of, say, like, the armor of God, taking on the armor of God, like the breastplate of righteousness or the sword of truth and all these things.
Sure.
Like, it's like he's arming himself, and he believes that it's of God because there's just a light beam shining on it.
But they're just ordinary fucking
They're just
objects.
ordinary, just an axe and some work gloves.
Yeah, and a pipe.
Yeah, and a pipe.
Which he handles with such care and reverence.
He
and it's
does.
like wrapped in a cloth and stuff. And it's like, this is just ordinary
pipe,
shit.
the lead pipe of God.
Yeah, dude. The Otis axe of God.
From now on, my answer to any time playing Clue is God with a lead pipe wherever.
Yeah, anywhere. Can't beat that one. Yeah, that's one of those things I thought was really almost comical in the movie when he starts finding these things, because he receives this word from God that he's got to kill these 7 demons and that he's going to receive artifacts to do the jobs with.
It actually becomes more like it becomes more childlike at that point, where it's
because you're thinking like he's getting a flaming sword,
right?
And like a breastplate and a shield.
He has that vision of the angel with the flaming sword.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. He is underneath that car working on it, and through some kind of crappy CGI, it kind of morphs.
But
into
I think
that.
it was supposed to look like that. I think they were going for kind of crappy and otherworldly, not looking right. Yeah,
like I like that about it.
Me too.
Like, my first instinct was to go, "Oh man, it's that lame late '90s morphing CGI." Right. But then I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is a crazy person. Right. You're seeing it through his eyes,
so it shouldn't look right.
It should look kind of fucked up."
It's the indication of the filmmaker to us that, oh no, this isn't real.
And in the middle of him having that vision, the camera pans out to just him stock still underneath a car.
Yeah.
Everybody else in the shop is just doing their thing. Soundtrack stops. It's just ambient noises of wrenches turning and shit. Mm-hmm. I love that shot.
Yeah.
Here's another cool thing about it too. Did you notice how it really specifically showed you what kind of car he was working on?
No. What was he working on?
A Mercury.
Oh, right.
The symbolism there being that Mercury in Greek mythology is the messenger.
Yes.
Very intentional. Very cool they put that in there.
So he's the messenger. Like, he's the one, he's received this command from God, and he's the messenger going around saying, like, you're a demon, you must be killed.
Or these people are the angel with the flaming sword.
He's also a messenger,
Pretty cool. That is cool. I like that a lot.
That's a cool. Like, Bill Paxton, he directed 2 movies. This and The Greatest Game Ever Played, which was a golf movie starring Shia LaBeouf. Not Holes.
That could have also been a golf movie.
Yeah.
Or a porno.
Whoa. Tim Blake Nelson in that would be interesting. Yeah.
He didn't seem that shy about LaBeouf.
But so he only directed 2 movies, this in 2001 and then Greatest Game Ever Played in 2005. I don't know why he stopped.
No, I think he did a really good
He did
job.
a really good job. I mean, I think maybe it's just he loved acting. That's actually something that I wrote down about him because I read this quote from Chloe Sevigny and I was just like, yeah, that sounds perfect to me. That sounds like exactly how I want to remember Bill Paxton. And what she said was they were on Big Love together for like 5 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So she said, one of the less cynical, jaded people I've ever met in the business. He believed in entertainment being transportive and transformative. He believed in the magic of what we can bring to people.
Wow.
So, like, I think acting gave him what he was searching for was entertaining people, making people happy. And acting gave him the outlet to do that more regularly. Whereas a lot of directing is behind the scenes.
Yeah, it takes so much prep work and stuff.
Yeah.
Acting's a lot more immediate.
Acting's a lot more immediate. So he got to feel like he was doing the thing he loved doing. Even though he obviously enjoyed directing, he wanted to feel it more often. He didn't want to have to be sitting behind the scenes for months figuring out how this movie's going to play out. He wanted to be like, okay, I show up on set, I do this. I show up on set, I do this. I show up on set, I do this. Like, it's so much easier that way. So I guess, like, despite the fact that he did a great job with it, it just didn't give him the feeling he was searching for. I mean, that's my only potential reasoning for it. He never really spoke about it. And he even talked about a potential for Frailty 2 and stuff like that. So... And I know he was working on something near the end. I'm not sure if he was going to direct it. He was going to produce it. Brent Hanley was doing an adaptation of a Joe Lansdale novel called The Bottoms that he was involved in and was thinking of directing. And this was around 2014. He died in 2017. So, he may have directed one more thing. I don't know. He did a great job, though.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah.
What do you think about his performance in the movie as well? I think it's one of his more...
measured
subdued performances. Yeah, because usually when we think about Bill Paxton, we're thinking of game over, man.
Yeah, he actually
real over the top characters.
Even says in the director's commentary, in some particular scenes, he overacted.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty downplayed in this.
Exactly,
honestly.
and that's the thing is directing himself. He had to rein himself in.
Oh.
So when he was reining himself in, he was like, okay, so I should be way more subdued in this, like, to play this role. But again, maybe that's why he didn't want to direct anymore, because he was like, I don't want to think about that. I want to show up on set and say game over, man.
Yeah, be fucking crazy Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Yeah, because compared to a lot of his other roles, I mean, Near Dark and Aliens and all that other stuff, this is
very
way more
subdued. Yeah.
I think he does a very good, very convincing job.
Yes.
And I even love how, I mean, he's so stoked that he received this vision from God, but at the same time, he's not completely manic, ridiculous, over the top, lunatic. Like, even when he's like swinging the axe the first time, he kind of hesitates. You know,
that's true.
It's like he sort of doubts that he's doing the right thing, but he feels conviction to do it, and I think his performance really shows that.
I mean, the most insane moment is him reacting when he has to kill somebody. Like, he kills that sheriff, and that's how he characterizes it, is I've never killed anybody before.
Yeah.
And like the way he's talking about it and stuff, and it's like,
it's after like Fenton is like,
and Fenton's like, I've seen you kill tons of people, or whatever.
I've never killed a person.
I've never killed a person. I've killed demons.
I think he says like I've destroyed them or eliminated them or something like that. Yeah,
that's where to me, like, my ears pricked up and it was just like, oh God, like he
doesn't believe he's killing people.
He really doesn't think he's a murderer. Like he thinks he's innocent.
Yeah.
He feels innocent in his heart, and that's why I wrote inscrutably until seconds ago, age and accountability at the top of my paper, and then had no idea what I was going for. So the boys can't be accountable for this stuff, right? Like,
no,
you cannot hold them accountable. Like, the oldest boy is Fenton, and he's what, 10, 11?
Yeah, 11 maybe.
Yeah. They can't be held accountable for this. But can he even? Like, it's clearly mental illness, and he clearly feels like it's right, and he clearly still has an idea of right and wrong. It's a super warped morality.
That's true, because, killing demons, not wrong.
Not
killing
wrong.
People, wrong.
Wrong, yeah. So, like, the fact that he seems so conscious of it. Like, he seems conscious of the fact that he is putting an axe into what looks like a human's head. Like, as you said, he the first time he doesn't, like, he has a little hesitation, but after that he's convinced of it. But then when he has to kill the sheriff, that's the moment where it's like, to me, it all becomes so muddy, because it's like, oh, he's like to him, this is a murder in comparison to the things that were done before.
Yeah.
That insanity is just so perfectly played, I think. So perfectly well
I think he does a
written
great job in this, man. What do you think about the kids and Powers Booth and McConaughey and them, too?
Okay, yeah, so we haven't talked about... Matthew McConaughey is amazing in this.
He's great.
He's fucking awesome. He
plays a serious role really fucking well.
He does, and this is
I know
one
we
of...
just look at him, we go, all right, and we think about Cadillac commercials and stuff. I know, but... Dude, he lays down some great shit.
And this is 5 years after Time to Kill, which was his first major
dramatic
starring role.
Yeah.
So this is before he's the McConaughey we know from, like, True Detective and stuff. Like, we're in 2020. You talk about Matthew McConaughey, everybody's like, yeah, like, fucking great actor Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah,
2001.
A-list actor.
That's not how people were thinking of him. They were thinking of him as the, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Dazed and Confused. And yeah, maybe he was good in A Time to Kill, but, like, he's not really a serious actor.
Yeah, this
is serious, and he does a great job at it.
I think so too, man. I mean, honestly, I will say the choice of making him very obviously crazy from the get-go. I mean, when he shows up at that sheriff's department at the first of the movie, you can tell, like, oh, this guy's kind of fucked up.
But then that gets kind of explained away as it goes. You kind of understand it. You're like, oh, well, that's why he's fucked up.
Charlotte was crazy. Right. But have you thought about how different of a movie this would have been if he would have seemed normal?
Right. If he had just come in straight.
Yeah. I know who the killer was.
It might be harder for him to buy. Like, it might be harder for the FBI agents to actually take him seriously if he came in. So... I don't know. You're right. I mean, that is an interesting play. Like, because if he had come in, I don't think he can though. Like, I think he is so fucked up that, like, I don't know though. When we see him as sheriff, he is displaying some form of. Damn it! I know, right? I'm going back and forth on all this. I don't think you can be sheriff and be normal. So, like, you have to have some sort of complex, right? You have to have some sort of ego or something about yourself that makes you think you should be in charge.
Be in charge of this town. Yeah.
But also, he's interacting pretty normally. But it does seem like his, the lady at the front desk at the sheriff's office, it does seem like she's in on it.
Yeah, I got that impression too.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how normal his interaction is there either. Maybe anytime you talk to him, people are like, that guy's a weirdo.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, in my head, it was kind of like, it would have made the twist even bigger.
Yeah, it really would have made it, like, hit better.
Yeah. Because, like, in the flashbacks, Fenton, who he is claiming to be,
right,
seems like the normal one. Adam seems like kind of the crazy one.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have further driven the narrative that, like, oh, you're actually talking to Fenton here when it's actually Adam the whole time.
Yeah.
I think it would have made that a little bit more of a reveal.
That's true. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no doubt he's fucked up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's some bits I might improve. What do you think about the music?
I think it's good.
I think, like, it never stands out. It never, like, sticks out too much. It's always kind of just right.
Yeah, I think it's appropriately creepy. There's a lot of, like, just weird, ominous. It's not even really, like, music per se.
Right.
It's just like weird
tones.
noise and tones. Yeah, which I think fits this very well.
Yeah.
Especially during those scenes where, it's the kids in the shed. And, I mean, God, man, poor Fenton having to, like, dig that hole in the backyard all by himself and stuff. And then getting locked up in it for 7 days. All that shit was grim.
Yeah.
And that soundtrack, I think, helped that along.
It did.
Very nicely, you know?
It did.
It doesn't really stand out and draw attention to itself. But
I think that's probably the way I would characterize this movie. It doesn't really stand out and call attention to itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it visually isn't outstanding or anything. It looks like it could have been a made-for-TV movie.
It's competent.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just not outstanding. The music, not outstanding, but right. Like, everything kind of fits together. So, for me, like, this is a really good movie.
Yeah, I think the kids did a good job, too. The kid actors,
the kid actors,
they were fine, man.
They nailed it. Because, like, it would have been easy for them to be unnatural.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's a pretty crazy story.
It'd be hard for a kid to imagine himself in that situation.
But Adam is so, like, gleeful to help his dad along and buy into this narrative.
Which is probably really smart directing. It's probably just Bill Paxton being like, okay, I'm playing your dad, and you know how you are with your dad.
Yeah,
whatever he wants to do, you want to be his best bud.
Right.
Yep.
And then Fenton is more of the kind of like, I'm seeing this from the outside. And this is fucked up. Like, I think the kid playing Fenton does a really good job of being doubtful. of everything that's going on.
And those kids are both still acting.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the kid actors have been acting for a long time. They're like, everybody in this has talent and really displays it. Powers Booth. Hey, that's Curly Bill. Curly fucking Bill.
Yeah, dude.
Well, bye. I love it.
Another Tombstone veteran too. Him and Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton. He met him on Tombstone. That's kind of why he decided to bring him in. And same with Matthew McConaughey. They'd worked together on U571.
Oh, okay.
So decided to bring him in. They brought in one kid actor in particular who was from Tennessee, so they could have somebody who'd have, an accurate Southern sort of accent, because everybody else is a little all over. The two kids aren't very Southern. They try a little bit, but not too much.
I guess so. Now that
Bill Paxton's got his accent.
Yeah, he's authentic Southern sounding. Yeah, I guess the kids don't really push it too much. Now that I think about it,
it's the kid that's like the kind of chubbier kid that's talking to him. Yeah, he's super Southern.
Yeah, definitely. Huh. Okay. Let me ask you too. Did you see the twists coming at the end?
No,
I mean,
not the first time I watched it at all.
He's actually Adam, and then the twist that he's the fucking sheriff.
I didn't see the twist that he's the sheriff coming at all. The twist that he's Adam was, I think there were maybe some indications, but it didn't hit my mind the first time I watched it. It was just kind of like, I think maybe that's why they make him be a little weird, so that like when you think maybe he's Adam or whatever, like subconsciously it's just like folded into that weirdness. Because like watching it through the first time, it didn't really hit, but then watching it through the second time, it's like, oh, these things are like obvious. I must have been catching them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is too, is at the very end of the movie, I think those twists happen a little close together.
They do.
The third act seems to happen really fast.
Real fast.
Where it's like, I'm Adam all along. Also, I put my hands on you. You killed your mom. Also, I'm the sheriff. Like, it's this really quick set of revelations that all seems to happen very fast. Yeah. But like the thing is too, is whenever he leads the sheriff out into the rose garden.
Yeah.
And the sheriff is like, this is more graves than the God's hand killer killed. That also plays up the fact that, again, maybe this is all real.
Right.
Because according to Bill Paxton, while they kill these people, everybody's going to turn a blind eye and not see it.
So they wouldn't see this as a killing streak or something.
Yeah, because he's got like 8 graves or something like that out there that he's never been caught for because... But again, is it God turning a blind eye because it's a holy mission, or is it he's the sheriff? He knows exactly how to evade being caught.
The movie does a
pretty ambiguous,
perfect job of keeping that ambiguity.
Yeah. I mean, you can watch it. Like whenever I watched it and thought back, and I was like, oh my God, it was all real the whole time.
Right.
He was getting away with it. He saw the things that these people were doing. He knew their names.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I finished the movie, I was like, oh shit, it's all real. But then as we've been sitting here talking about it, you're like, yeah, but he's mental and he's telling you the story. It's fake.
Yeah.
You can really see it either way.
Yes, you really can.
Which makes this very rewatchable.
Yeah. It's a smart idea.
It's kind of like a choose your own adventure. You can watch it with the idea of, is it real or isn't it? On rewatches, and see it either way. Very well done.
Well, Ben, what do you think? Is it a good one?
I think it's a good one. I think it's one of those that I would not hesitate to watch again. It's not ultra long.
No.
I wouldn't have minded if it was a little bit more brutal.
Yeah, a little more gore.
I wouldn't have minded
blood.
that. Yeah, just to really clue me in on just how fucked up this situation is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough watching him with his kids in the room, axe murdering people. But I think that would have been maybe enhanced more if we also just saw just how fucked up what these kids were seeing.
I think a lot of that has to do with Bill Paxton, because like he hated filming the scene where he had to drag Finn down the stairs. I think he wanted to protect the kids. Yeah. So like not putting in the blood and gore and stuff, like they just don't have to see that.
Okay.
It's all implied by, like, we don't even really see the axe hit heads and stuff.
No, I think the most we ever see the axe hit anything is whenever Fenton hits Bill Paxton with the axe at the end of the movie. And it does have great impact.
It does.
Because at that point, you're like, oh my God.
We haven't seen it up to this point. We've just seen the axe being swung. Yeah.
And I love, too, that, man, that like whenever Bill Paxton's laying down there dying, like he brings Adam in, like the chosen prodigal son, and he whispers some shit to him that we never know what the fuck he says.
Yeah. Love that it's not revealed.
Yeah, me too. I think that's really, really, really dope. So I wouldn't have minded if it was a little bit more brutal. Again, it's not visually stunning, but I think that's just so it doesn't distract you or pull you out from the reality of the situation, you know? Very cool, very effective movie. Like I said, I would totally watch this again. I think for me, this is probably about I'm going to hit it with 7.
Okay.
I think it's the holy number, 7.
7. I agree with you on all counts that this is obviously filmed in a way to not stand out too much, to try to let the story like be the forefront.
Yeah, and the realness.
Yeah, and the realness of the situation and the feelings of the situation and how the characters are dealing with it more than the visuals of it. Where it could have gotten, you know, we could have seen all of his visions or whatever. It could have been way more of a visual feast, but then it's like, what? Who's that for?
Would have made it better.
Yeah. I think it's a good addition to Southern Gothic movies. It's well within that genre and really, really interesting as far as the way that it deals with the possibilities in religion. Like the ambiguity makes it so that at the end, what it's either saying is like it's really possible God's telling you to kill people and that some people are demons, or that is absolute insanity. Do not listen to it. Right. And that is so much the South, is those two things butting heads. And so I think it really nails that. I really like it. I enjoy the movie. I think it's well acted. Matthew McConaughey's great. Well, very underrated. I think you're about right. I'd say about 7.5 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, one of those ones that came out in what a lot of people think of as the dark ages of horror.
It came out in 2001.
There's some good shit happening back then.
Session 9, Ravenous. We've done these 3 within a month of each other.
Wow, yeah.
And I think they kind of redefined for me that late 90s, early 2000s horror, where it was going before 9/11.
I think so, because we did have this big glut of course, just all the ones that you think of when you think about late 90s horror. You think about all your urban legend, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and stuff like that were kind of these like, maybe we can do the slasher giallo thing again.
Right.
Let's just try that. But then, meanwhile, there were these other more introspective, almost character study horror movies. Like,
they're way
Ravenous
more character driven than like very simple stories. Yeah, but more character driven. I mean, to say this is a simple story sounds crazy, but it really is a simple story. Yeah.
So there were definitely some good flicks going on back then, but they weren't the gigantic mega hits.
They just didn't hit as much as Scream 3 or whatever. Which was a fun movie.
It's okay. Yeah, it is. Well, cool stuff, man. Well, you guys be sure to go on iTunes, rate, and review if you've enjoyed this episode. Helps us out a ton. I've not seen enough reviews lately.
More views.
Give me them. Give me them reviews. Start off your 2020 by making the right choice to review your favorite horror movie review podcast.
You should make a New Year's resolution
Review Dead and Lovely.
Dead and Lovely, yeah.
It's a hard one to start with,
It
but
is.
you know,
once you get through it, it's well worth it.
It's all easy.
You're going to have abs.
Just coast.
If you give us a good review, you'll have abs.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, where can they follow us and give us their money and stuff?
Dead Lovely Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
Dead and Lovely on YouTube and /Dead and Lovely on Facebook. Patreon.com/Dead and Lovely. Head on over there, become a $5 patron. We're going to be doing a drawing this month, probably next week.
I think so.
Yeah. To determine what Patreon suggested movie we'll be covering at the end of January. So
super excited to see what it
head
is.
on
You
over
guys
there,
always
become
have
a
good
$5
choices.
patron.
Or become a $1 patron.
Yeah.
Or a $3 patron.
Yeah, get a
You can do
shout
that too.
out and get it all.
Yeah. Or become a $50 patron if you want.
I also would accept that.
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah,
$100, I'll take it.
You know what? If you want to pay us $10,000 a month, we'll take it.
Be our guest.
Be our guest.
Put our podcast to the test. Blah, 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 blah. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to stick around for next week. We are going to be talking about
Army of Darkness.
It's going to be a great time, so you guys be sure to tune in. Well, you guys have been absolutely fabulous. We have been Dead and Lovely. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope everybody is enjoying their 2020 so far. So far, so good for me.
Me too.
So far, so good for you. You guys have been wonderful. We've been Dead and Lovely.
Goodbye.
Hello, darling. Nice to see you.
It's been a long time.
Who do you think had the most secretly filthy old school country
Conway
songs?
Twitty.
It's got to be Conway Twitty.
Yeah.
That guy rolled nasty in a lot of those songs.
By the fear on your face, I can tell you've never been this far before.
The fear on your face.
No, I added that. It does say like by the quiver on your lip or something like that,
yeah.
but that's like what he's getting at.
I think the real twist is that song's actually like from the perspective of Jack the Ripper.
That's true. And you know what? I can guarantee you those prostitutes had never had their insides scooped out.
Never been that far
Never been that far before.
What's the, she wants a man with a slow hand?
I want a man with a slow hand. A lover with an easy touch. Yeah,
don't go mashing that thing. Easy on it.
My nanny loves Conway Twitty and went to see him live. I remember whenever I was like a tween, I think, and she had this Conway Twitty concert shirt and stuff. And I was like, okay, I never really paid attention to Conway Twitty. So one time I was riding with her and we were listening to Conway Twitty, and that song about never been this far before came on. I was like, wait a second, is this dirty? And then I started listening to all the other songs. I was like, wait a second. So like,
this is about the sex, isn't
I never brought it up to my grandmother, but I always hoped she would be like, that music you listen to, so I could be like, Conway Twitty, bitch. But in fact, my grandmother never did, because she listened to Conway Twitty, so she never said like, don't listen to that. She's just like, yeah, whatever. Conway Twitty.